Welcome. This is Coffee and Wisdom. I'm David Breeden, the Senior Minister at First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. And we've been looking this week at what dreams tell us, how they've been considered through the time from ancient religious ideas of divination that the gods were speaking to today, religion and the subconscious, Freud and his way of thinking that really revolutionizes every way that we think about dreams and also religion for that matter. So I do want to share a quote from Diogenes Laertes, one of the ancient Greek philosophers, a skeptic, who said, "We are more curious about the meaning of dreams than about things we see when awake." Always a good critique to remember as we think about these things. Freud did readjust everything about things we see when awake become known. 1856 to 1939. The interpretation of dreams is the royal road to the knowledge of the unconscious activities of the mind, said Mr. Freud. And so he very much thought that this was very important as a key to unlocking the subconscious. One of his books, Delusion and Dreams, he wrote volume after volume on the idea of dreams. So I just want to take a couple of little bits. There's no way that we can encompass Freud's ideas here, but there's a small little thread that I would like to trace through that does have to do with dreaming and religion and the connection between the two. Freud talking here. The dream has a very striking way of dealing with the category of opposites and contradictions. This is simply disregarded. To the dream, no does not seem to exist. In particular, it prefers to draw opposites together into a unity or to represent them as one. Indeed, it also takes the liberty of representing some random element by its wished-for opposite, so that at first one cannot tell which of the possible poles is meant positively or negatively in dream thoughts. So a combination of black and white, yes and no, etc., is part of this idea. But also notice how he's dealing with the idea of wishes, wished for. On down, as you see, yes, there's a lot of Freud books on dreams. He says in another place, what is common in all these dreams is obvious. They completely satisfy wishes excited during the day which remain unrealized. They are simply and undisguisedly realizations of wishes. So basically that's the idea that Freud was pursuing with dreams, is that they are ways that we work out what we wish for, that we didn't get, can't get, etc., but that we are working on those in our sleep when no is not an answer. But notice again, it's about the realization of wishes. Dreams are never concerned with trivia, says Dr. Freud. An interesting idea there. You may also know that he wrote two books on religion. His most famous is The Future of an Illusion. And yes, Freud did not think that religion had a long shelf life in the modern world, with modern science discovering so many things. That's his most famous book. And not a good look at religion, but he does have this to say in a different book, which I'll get to in a moment. Religion is an attempt to get control over the sensory world in which we are placed by means of the wish world, which we have developed inside us as a result of biological and psychological necessities. But it cannot achieve its end. Its doctrines carry with them the stamp of the times in which they originated, the ignorant childhood days of the human race. Now, notice he's saying those ancient things, and he has in mind Judaism and Christianity, basically, but they are the ignorant childhood ideas of the human race. Its consolations deserve no trust. Experience teaches us that the world is not a nursery. The ethical commands to which religion seeks to lend its weight require some other foundations instead, for human society cannot do without them, and it is dangerous to link up obedience to them with religious belief. So very much in the 18th century philosophical secular mode of pulling apart morality and the basis of morality being in religion, pulling those two apart, preserving the social structures of morality and ethics, but getting rid of the fear of God as being the reason that we follow these things. If one attempts to assign to religion its place in man's evolution, it seems not so much to be a lasting acquisition as a parallel to the neuroses which the civilized individual must pass through on his way from childhood to maturity. And that is a book called Moses and Monotheism. His second book on religion. So you see how Freud is looking at this. Childhood, of course, is one of his main ideas, that so many things about our psyches are developed during childhood. Religion also is a childhood thing, he says. It's back from the ancient days of the human race and really no longer has very much applicability to the world. That's his idea, and he stuck with it, by golly, to the end of his life. But then, and as his contemporaries, there were also those psychologists who take religion a bit more seriously, and that's what we will be looking at tomorrow, is psychologists taking the exact opposite tack of dismissing religion and saying it's merely wish fulfillment. Thanks for listening. You can help out First Unitarian Society of Minneapolis. Keep the voice of Humanism strong by going to our website /donate or to PayPal. And you can find out a lot more about what we're doing by going to YouTube and signing up for First Unitarian of Minneapolis, because there are more than one First Unitarian in the world, and also the Den of Conversation on YouTube. And I'll talk to you tomorrow.